I got other sources that I go to get the real true news that gives you documentation that proves everything. Everything she says on here, I can tell is stuff she heard on the news or what somebody else in her community has told her. One of the false things that people believe is January 6th was, that people were killed January 6th when the riot at the Capitol and Trump was at fault. What you have not heard is, and the media wouldn't report it, is that Trump said before they went down there, we going down to protest peacefully and patriotically. The news media didn't give you that. They cut that out. So he was encouraging them not to riot. Second thing you don't know is that Trump called the mayor of Washington, D.C., because the federal government cannot bring in the National Guard unless they get permission from the mayor. He offered a day or two before January the 6th, or just somewhere around the 3rd or the 4th of January, he offered 10,000 troops. All this is on record. He offered 10,000 troops to come because he had heard that something was brewing and getting ready to happen, and he wanted to help control. She would not receive it. This was an African-American Democratic mayor, Mayor Bowser in Washington, D.C., would not accept the troops. I can't understand if there's finna be a riot possibly coming and it's being heard about in your city and you don't want to protect the city because there was a plan. All you got to do is look at who did it benefit. Let me tell you who was behind January the 6th. January the 6th, look at who benefited, and you'll know then who was really behind it. January the 6th, because I've done my research, I can send you any references you need to help you out. Go back to when Martin Luther King had his last march in Memphis before he died. His last march was the week before the assassination. I think it was the 28th of March. He was killed on the 4th. What they did, they went and paid black boys because they saw King progressing. He was getting ready to have the Poor People's March, which was going to affect the economics of the city, of the nation, should I say. And they were trying to cut that off from happening. So they wanted to make him look bad and make the nonviolent movement look bad. And so what they did, they paid young African-American gang guys, the FBI, to go in and make a ruckus in the march and then break out windows and everything. And so it looked like on the news, and they began to report it, that nonviolence didn't work. And they were trying to destroy King's reputation. The FBI did that to control what happened. Go look online, do your study. The FBI has been found out that they were behind January the 6th. What they did, they put their people in the front of the line to crawl up the building. They even got videos of Antifa guys changing clothes and putting on the type of clothes that the protesters were even trying to stop them. But they were on the front lines, and so when they are filming everything, it looks like it's the protesters, when it was actually people the FBI had paid to get in front so it could get out that Trump was behind it. We have been brainwashed to a lot of stuff that's happening because your media is not being truthful. The media hates Trump. And y'all don't realize we got to have somebody to get us out of this mess. Now, I'm not going to tell you who I'm going to vote for. I would never do that. But I will tell you this. We got to get somebody that's going to get this nation out of the mess that it's in. I'm finna show you real quickly, because I brought this up a few weeks ago, oh, I want to mention something she mentioned. She says something in here about Trump is a sexist. He had immoral sexual behavior with a lot of women and all of that. That's the one I want to address, because that's the one I hear all the time. What about all the women? What about Stormy Daniels? What about the video that was out or the recording about him talking lewdly about women. Every last one of them things, I agree, is wrong and was wrong. I'm in agreement with that. I wish it had been different, that he had done it in a different way. But let me give you something you haven't thought about. My question to you is, if we are not going to give Trump grace, do you deserve grace? Because I guarantee you, everybody listening to me, or the great majority, you got to pass. We all got to pass that we are not proud of. And here's the deal that you're missing. All of these accusations were out before he won the first time, which means you done had 4 years of Trump already, from 2016 to 2017 to 2021. So that means all them accusations didn't impact how he governed when he was in office. So you can kill all that now. We already had 4 years. None of it affected how he governed. Trump never did anything to hurt the black community. Give me one thing he did to hurt us. I can give you things he did to bless us. Give me one that he did to hurt us. Not only that, Trump never passed one ungodly legislation. See, it ain't about personality, his style, and his rhetoric, because see, rhetoric ain't going to pay your bills. Policy is what's going to pay your bills. When he wants to keep the taxes low and all of that, that's what's going to determine how you're going to live. You got to get above this race stuff. But it's your pride. You've been offended racially. I don't like the way he talk about black folk. Trump has talked about both blacks and whites out there. Different people he's labeled, given nicknames. So it ain't about race. It's his little style of leadership, and just, I would prefer he did it differently, but that's how he chooses to deal with it. But I know rhetoric ain't going to impact how I'm going to live. Now, as it relates to the women that he's had, watch this. The issue with Stormy Daniels happened in 2006. Trump married Melania, I think, either early 2006 or 2005. Trump, to this day, still denies that anything happened. But let's say it did happen. Let's say something did happen with Trump and Stormy Daniels. From 2006 all the way to 2024 is almost 19 years. You ain't heard nothing else about another woman. Watch this now. 19 years. And you sit back and say, well, Pastor, how can you say that? You don't know. I'm going to tell you why I know. There has been no other president that has been more investigated or scrutinized than Donald Trump. He done been through the Mueller report, the Russian hoax. He done been through trials. He done been through impeachments. They done looked up under the cover or every sheet of paper they could to find anything on him. If there had been anything else, it would have been out by now. So from Stormy Daniels, 2006, up until now, you ain't heard nothing else about another woman. Question, does he deserve some mercy and grace? Don't we all live certain ways in our lives and we practice some things for a while until we made up in our minds that we gonna turn away from it? If there were things that people knew about any of us that we have done from the past, and your job, your career, or other people around you found out about it, you wouldn't be able to hold the position you got. We all got something in our closets that we've done. So that means when he ran and announced in 2016 that he was running, from 2006 to 2016, 10 years at that point, they didn't have nothing. So that's why I know he deserves grace. He got to pay. Yeah, he was a playboy in his day, but everybody loved him until he came down them steps and announcing that he was a Republican. Going back to January 6th, Nancy Pelosi, go do your research, was the one that didn't call the security in. She admits she didn't call the security in either. The whole thing is a hoax. If you just do your research, you can find it out. And let me ask this question. You talk about, okay, if we're going to condemn Trump, stay with me, then you got to condemn the present president that's in office, because there are 8 sexual harassments out there against him right now. How come we didn't know this? Because the media protected him and wouldn't tell us. 8 women out there that he has accusations of sexual harassment against. We know about Trump's sins, but nobody told us about Biden. I'm going to send it out to you. I'm getting ready to send out an email. Has it already gone out, Mike? Okay, I'm getting ready to send out an email blast that'll give you that where you can do your research. If we're going to put Trump's sins in, then we got to go deal with Kamala. Because before Kamala became senator or president, she had a day also. She dated a man by the name of Willie Brown, who was the mayor of San Francisco while he was married. So that means while he was still legally married to this woman, although separated, they were in a sexual relationship with each other. If we're going to give Kamala mercy, do we owe Trump? No, you just hate Trump. Because really it's symbolic for many of you, not everybody, but it's really symbolic of your feeling toward white people, period. White people, black people are just as racist sometimes as white folk who have been racist, and not all of them are racist, and not all black people feel that way. But your real problem is you hate white folk. You haven't forgiven white people. That keeps you from even considering somebody else, because deep down, you don't trust white people, and you still carry bitterness for the racism you experience. I've been there, and I had to repent and check my heart with God that I wasn't right when it came to whites. And since that time, because I've forgiven and I'm not bitter anymore, my eyes are spiritually open. But they never deliver, and they don't come see about you. They'll bring you a few turkeys or give you a cell phone every 4 years, and then after that you don't see them anymore because they're in love with power. Bill Clinton, yeah, let me bring him up, had a girl in the White House while in office, in the Oval Office, doing sexual things. And I didn't hear nobody black, back when he was in office, stand up and say he was wrong, because he gets a pass for being a Democrat. But over here, Republican Trump, look at all the stuff he doing and what he done. He's a sexist and he's all of this. People act like you can't change in life. Barack Obama put the rainbow colors on the White House the night Supreme Court decided to make same-sex marriage legal, and I didn't see black folks say a word. He was declaring a detestable sin over the whole nation. And that's some of the stuff we're dealing with right now.